All right. I think, yeah, we can start. We're almost 10 people. So I'm going to start. Yeah, welcome. I don't know if it's good morning, good afternoon, good evening in where you are based. Here it's morning, 11 a.m. And I would like to introduce yourself how I'm planning to introduce STEAM and citizen science using birds, Internet of Things, and artificial intelligence and Fablabs into schools. Okay, so I'm gonna introduce all of these topics, but I hope that that we can create kind of a discussion at the end of the session. Okay, it will be a very well. Let me go step by step on the slides that I prepared. So my name is Mark Pose. I'm based in Barcelona. Currently, I'm in holidays, to be honest, and I'm in a house with no internet. So I hope that the connectivity will be okay during the whole session. I had some problems to set up my devices with my mobile phone, so the demos will be a bit different, but yeah, I think it will be just okay. I'm developer advocate at Balena. At Balena, we help companies to manage the software running on devices on the IoT. But I co-founded IoT startups and citizen science companies as well. I manage the IoT Barcelona meetup, the IoT Munich meetup, and I'm as well father. So I have two daughters, two beautiful daughters. The one right now is crying, so you can expect some noise at some point. And yeah, and I'm really interested. I'm computer engineer, so I'm really interested as well on the education of them and how we can improve STEAM education on public schools, at least in Barcelona, and share lessons learned with other schools and do something to improve the world. So what we are gonna do today? So I'm gonna talk like 1/3 of the presentation about the story about birds, IoT, artificial intelligence, Fab Labs that I prepare, but I want to do like a very hands-on workshop. So if you have a Raspberry Pi with you, a 3 or 4, and a webcam, it can be like a Pi camera or a USB camera. Like this is a cheap one that I bought like for $20. Bring it because we are going to build something together during this workshop. Okay. If you don't hear me or something, or you cannot follow me, feel free to use the chat here. Okay. I hope that I will. I don't have a co-host, so I hope that everyone is admitted on time, etc. Feel free to ask anything on the chat or by voice at any time. No worries. Okay. It will be a very practical session, and looking forward to create a discussion with all of you. So I already mentioned this. So if you have a Pi 3, Pi 4 USB camera or Pi camera Telegram application, and then we will use some freemium services that are on the internet to actually do this in 5 minutes. You will see. Okay, so what are the goals of today's session? First of all, I would like to explain to you how I learned to watch the birds in another way and to learn about nature around us and how to involve children on learning about this. I would like to introduce about that Internet of Things and artificial intelligence. Are big topics, but how to simplify or reduce friction introducing these into schools or at home or into communities. And I would like to as well to create a discussion on how to involve the community into the project. And even I think the Fab Labs are great tools to get involved into this project with the experience that I have that I'm going to share with you in a second. Okay, so let me tell you my story. So first of all, my father is a passionate of weather stations, but then as well about birds. And so then on Christmas, we gave to him like an Amazon Blink camera, and he put like a bird feeder and the camera pointing to this bird feeder with a sensor that when something was moving, it was recording. So this picture actually, this screenshot was taken like some weeks ago. So he's like recording the birds going to the garden that we have in the mountains. but yeah, he knows the species, etc. But actually, I don't know, so I need to check in the internet with pictures, etc., to understand what are the species of birds going there, etc. And even for children, it's a little bit more tricky. So citizen science, it's nice. So it's nice to tell to the children, hey, let's observe, let's be quiet here in a chair and wait. Yeah, but sometimes you wait and you don't know what you see, and people like to run and play around, and it's a bit tricky. As I told you, I have two children and they go to a public school in Barcelona. This is the Escola Sant Martí Barcelona. It's in Poblenou, if you have been in Barcelona, in Glorias. So there is this public school there. And when I joined the school, um, what I wanted to do is to get involved into the community of parents of the school, to try to introduce I have a children here. Can you see? So I try to introduce the STEAM into the school with teachers, etc. So, and this is what we did actually, and we did it with Fablab. So actually, I knew Fablab from long time ago. From I know Thomas from a long time ago, and I brought them to see, hey, how can you introduce Fablab techniques into the school and help teach the teachers to introduce STEAM or Fablab techniques, etc. And they started to think. We had a couple of meetings, and then we started with this project with Jugando con la Luz. And this was like 5th and 6th grade. I'm not sure, I'm not sure the grades in other countries, how they work, but it's like 13 and 14-year-old students making these boxes with lights that the parents, we help to solder the LEDs, etc. So with some lights, they made some shadows to express like their emotions, stories that they were inventing, or stories that they had in the past, etc. And during like experimental party in Barcelona, like with a lot of experimental light art exhibition. So the school had like this big wall of like 5 meters by 2 of their boxes explaining their emotions and stories, etc. With this playing with the shadows from that they made with the school using these STEAM techniques with the Fab Lab. And that was a really interesting experience by the teachers, etc. But then last year, I received this message saying, oops, can you hear me well now? Can you hear me? Okay, so, super, thank you. Yeah, feel free to let me know. So last year, I got a message that there was a project called Pájaros en la Nube, like birds in the cloud. So that they were looking like 100 schools in Spain to install bird nests and connect these bird nests to the internet, to the cloud platform, to see what was happening on the nest. So I was pretty excited about this project, and I submit the school into the project. We got accepted finally. There were no 100, there were 75 schools only. But what I discovered, that this was an Arduino project. Actually, what they were trying to do to introduce STEAM into the school was to give an Arduino type of an Arduino LoRa board, like a very cheap device, but it was okay, with some sensors to detect just temperature, humidity, and presence into the nest. And it was really interesting. Fablab was designing, or was like just manufacturing the nest. But it was giving like just few data that people or children in the school, they didn't. So even if we could detect presence, you couldn't tell what type of bird was in there, or what was it doing, if it was having new birds, or it was a kind of like in a halfway of a project that I had on mine. Because it was, most of the educative parts were more focused on soldering an Arduino into a PCB and with some sensors and connecting them through the Things network. And for me, that was not the type of projects I wanted to build with a school on the STEAM. But anyway, we put the nest on the school, and I discovered then, making some research, that yeah, most of the schools, well, some of the schools in Barcelona, they had sheets like these where, yeah, people or children were just checking that, yeah, I saw a dove, or I saw a robin or a canary or whatever, no? And yeah, but this is citizen science, right? This is how you go, you observe, and you write in a paper, etc. So, but yeah, with children, it's a bit tricky to wait a couple of hours in a place, and yeah, and just checking what they saw, and that they can be sure what they saw. So in meantime, I joined Balena. I say that I'm developer advocate at Balena, and the thing is that, yeah, we are helping companies to reduce friction to connect devices to the internet. And we built something, well, yeah, and as well, a sec, yeah. And as well, in parallel, meanwhile, meanwhile, I saw on Kickstarter as well this bird body project. I don't know if anyone of you just acquires any of these, but this made $4 million just selling a bird nest, a bird feeder with a camera and a microphone to detect the birds, and they made a mobile application to detect the birds by noise or by image. And I was like, okay, so yeah, I think we can do that. I think that's easy enough with the tools that we have today, and even we can involve children to do it. So why not? And at Balena, we made something super cool that it's called Baleno Hub, that it's on hub.balena.io, that it's a marketplace for IoT edge applications. So if you make an IoT edge application, you can just submit it on Balena Hub, and Balena can help you to distribute your application on IoT devices. And one of the developers from the community, as I told you, I'm developer advocate, just made this application, this bird watcher Balena fin, that it was exactly this bird body on Kickstarter, but on a Raspberry Pi and with artificial intelligence services. So I started to play with it, and it worked really well. So when you deploy these services from these, it automatically detects the birds. So we have been testing this just with images, and it has a web page where you can access and see like historical and real-time feeds. But on the other hand, it has a Telegram bot that it sends the detected images on the Telegram bot. So it's really, really interesting what you can have just in a click. And the idea was to go toward that direction. I thought that this was easy enough to introduce it into a school in few clicks and do it. And actually the hardware is pretty simple. This is a Balena fin. A Balena fin, it's just a kind of a Raspberry Pi, like an industrial Raspberry Pi. Actually, the developer of this project, it's called Mithan Das. He's based in the US. And he made this project with a Pi camera, as you can see on the right. He 3D printed a bird feeder, and actually he introduces as well a microphone. Just so it had two services: one detecting images or classifying images, and the other classifying noises of that the birds were doing. So it's interesting because if the bird, it's not on the nest or on the bird feeder, but it's nearby, you can as well detect, okay, there is this type of bird around my bird feeder, and then you can understand why it's not on the bird feeder. Maybe it's too big to fit there, or maybe eat something different what you have there. And then another friend, Paul Pinault, it's this91 on Twitter. He made as well the project, and he put it on a tree on his garden in France. So The project was yeah, it was really interesting. And I decided to just, yeah, why not introduce it into school so people is using it. And so okay, so if I want to introduce it into the school, what are the goals of the project? No, because yeah, as a nerd project, it was really good. It's very easy to deploy this project on a Raspberry Pi, as you're going to see in a second. It's easy to, yeah, you can make a machine learning model, as you're going to see in some minutes. But yeah, the teachers are going to buy it, or so, and how to introduce. But on the other hand, I was like focused on my question: how can I introduce STEAM, no, science, technology, engineering, arts, and mathematics into school, and citizen science, and not only for like the 14-year-old or 13 or 18-year-old students. It's like, okay, how a 3-year-old children, or 5-year-old, or 7 can as well get benefit of a one single project shared through all the grades in a school. And okay, so first goal that I had is like, okay, I think this can help us to learn about the birds or the nature that are around us in the school, in the local community, right? So children can learn about, yeah, bird sizes, migration of the birds, like, yeah, this bird is coming every spring or autumn or summer, the different species depending on the size as well, right? So maybe we can do like a bigger bird nest or a smaller one. What's the food that they eat? Like, okay, and the station, so how change the birds depending on, as well, depending, so if you are on the mountains, right, 2,000-meter high above the sea, or you are in the desert, or you are, yeah, depending, no, what type of birds are coming, and more questions that probably children would be able to, yeah, ask themselves, no, when you give the tools like these. Then as well, with the Fab Lab, it's really interesting because you go there and you say, okay, I need a bird nest, and then people in the Fab Lab start asking you questions. Okay, what materials do you want? No, how do you want to assemble it? And no, what type of, yeah, do you want like the recycled material or not? And like, okay, so maybe that's a good point as well on this circular economy that we are living today, and to let the children experiment with different materials with Fab Lab people, and make the bird feathers maybe with 3D printed, like with plastic, or maybe go and laser cutter some boot, and then let the children make like the puzzle of the boot, and or designing themselves, or if you are 3D printing, maybe make the 3D printing recycling the plastic, or yeah, or different, yeah, I mean, create this topic for them to, yeah, experiment with different materials thanks to the Fab Lab. And then as well, I think that it's really interesting to introduce the Internet of Things and artificial intelligence to children. It Yeah, this, as I told you before, these are complex topics, but on the other hand, I think that yeah, it can be introduced to them in simple words, like maybe if we, as I gonna tell you, as I gonna tell you in a second, if you explain to children how the system works, how it's connected, so we have a single board computer with a memory here, a camera here, and this sends data to a service here, to the cloud, blah, blah, blah. So if you explain this, you can make other variations and ask the children, okay, now how we would be able to capture a sound and do it, and make children think about that. Another topic that for me it's very interesting, and I think there should be topics or subjects in the schools about these, about privacy, etc. It's to make children to understand that a camera like this, or the mobile phone camera, it's not just a camera that takes pictures and like we do on the phone or on a normal camera. Camera can have a computer, so like this is a $20 camera, super cheap, but can have an artificial intelligence algorithm nearby it, and start identifying people in the street, and making, extracting a lot of data. So explain to the people and to the children, like, hey, if you see a camera, this is not just taking pictures or stream record. It's like maybe understanding who you are, how many times you go there, etc. So children can start to understand where the society is going, no, towards, etc. And as well, introduce them the artificial intelligence. So explain them how to create a machine learning model. We are gonna create one together right now, um, and but explaining how to create a machine learning model of birds that are in their local region. For me as well, it's interesting that if different schools are working together on this project, how this machine learning model is different on different schools. So schools in the north or in different places will have different machine learning models of birds, because birds are different, no, in Europe, in the US, in Asia, in Latin America, etc. So this is, I think, something really special, how to know how they can say, okay, so I have this type of birds, but like 2,000 kilometers from here, they have complete different birds, and so that they can understand as well this local and global thing all around the world. I think I already introduced a lot of questions where teachers and children and families can get introduced into the citizen science and STEAM, because as I told you, so we are gonna connect these with a Telegram application. So a bot, so anyone in the community can just join that bot, as we are going to do right now in some seconds, and joining that bot, you can be part of that community and understanding what birds are coming, etc. And finally, I think it's really interesting to build community. So it's not only about the school or the different children in the school playing with these and teachers, but as well the neighbors from the school can get into the citizen science if we tell them, hey, we have these, we are capturing the birds coming no, to in the rooftop of the school, etc. You want to see the birds, so just joining this Telegram bot, all the neighbors, all the people in the neighborhood can just be part of the community, help. Maybe we have a bird expert in the neighborhood and we didn't know, and as well share knowledge with other schools and share how to do it with other communities. And I think here as well FabLab can help a lot. Okay, so how to build it? So let's build it together. I think that this is what I wanted to do. I don't know if there are questions or not at this point. No, yes. Feel free to start asking on the chat. So how to build it together? As I told you, if you have a Raspberry Pi, this is a Raspberry Pi. Hey, I'm coordinator. Okay, I'm coordinator at FabLab at Teachers Training Education. I am home and don't have any equipment, so great. Okay, so I think this is gonna get recorded. So I have a problem that I am connected with the Wi-Fi of my mobile phone. So I'm not sure if that this is gonna work live, but the idea is that this will be recorded and it's very simple to follow the steps and to make it work. If not, I'm gonna create another video to explain step by step how to do it. But if you don't have the equipment, I strongly recommend to do it, because at the end it's like, this is $35, this is 20, so, and the SD card and the power, like for less than 100 euros or dollars, you can have like a device that can recognize birds, and we can create and then all of these topics to work with children and with the community. And I think with the FabLab can help a lot to introduce this into the schools and experiment with materials and other things. But I'm going to explain you step by step how to do it. If you don't have it, I hope that this will be on YouTube or somewhere else to repeat this, okay? But feel free to ask questions about anything. Okay, so the first thing that we are going to do is, I have a Pi 4. This work with Pi 3 as well. SD card here. USB camera in my case, but it works as well with a Pi camera. Then second thing that we are gonna do live, I'm gonna train a machine learning model with Edge Impulse. Edge Impulse, it's a service that it's a system to train or to create machine learning models for embedded devices like for Arduinos, etc. And then now they created as well an SDK for Linux devices. So with Balena, we created the first non-embedded device machine learning model with Edge Impulse. And you will see that it's a tool that it's super simple to create the machine learning model. I know that there are a lot of machine learning tools nowadays, and maybe there are some others that are simple or more simple to use with children. But this one, it's so powerful that you can use it with Arduinos, or even this may work with as well with an Arduino and a camera. So I think, yeah, so the simplicity that that this service works, yeah, and the different devices that you can use, this is great. We're gonna deploy Balena fleet on this Pi that is gonna release some services on the Pi that will be able to run this machine learning model and other services, to like the Telegram service as well. So from the oops, I don't know if my connectivity it's broken or not. Yeah, let me know if you can hear me. So the idea is that the camera will be connected through the USB. The image, it's gonna go through a service of Edge Impulse, the machine learning model running here locally, so you don't need the internet almost for this. And then when a bird is detected from the machine learning model in a threshold, it's going to inform another service running Telegram, and it's going to send a Telegram message. There is as well a web service running on here that we will be able to access to. And finally, the fourth step will be to create a bird feeder. As I told you, it could be interesting depending on where you live to create different sizes of bird feeders and for a different type of food, or to introduce the camera in different angles. And finally, yeah, I would like to create a discussion here to how to share this with everyone, how to involve schools and Fablabs to make like this like a global project, if that makes sense. Okay, so as I told you, Pi 3 USB camera or Pi 4 or Balena Fin, if you have it, USB camera or Pi camera, SD card, power adapter. And then for the software, you will need Balena. If you go to balena.io, you can create an account, or with the click that I'm going to show you, you will be able to sign up. It's free up to 10 devices, so you can have 10 bird feeders for free forever, no worries. edgeimpulse.com, so you will be able to create machine learning models there for free as well. And then Balena Etcher to flash the SD card with a Balena OS image. And then we will need a Telegram mobile application if you have it on the phone. For the demo, I would suggest to have the Telegram mobile application. Then we can play a bit with it. What else? I hope that you have it. Okay, so let's try the machine learning model. So I have a slides that I'm going to share later on my GitHub repository. I didn't have time to upload them as I'm on holidays, but the idea is that these slides will be on my GitHub repository, that is github.com mpous, P-O-U-S. And the idea now is that I create a machine learning model from like Kaggle repository with more than 100 bird species, but I created the machine learning model with 2 species that are around here. I'm not sure that we are gonna be able to capture the species. I have on the slides everything step by step. I'm gonna do on Edge Impulse. Do like thumbs up if you see it. Cool, thank you. All right, so first thing, when you create a project on Edge Impulse, so I have this here. It's like create a new project, and then you like, I already have created, so I don't want to create it. But The idea is that I decided to put here that it's a multi-object detection. So in case that there are two birds, they can be detected at the same time, or two birds from two different species, they would be able to get detected. So first thing that you need to do is to start acquiring data on your machine learning model. In this case, I created, I already upload 80. It's loading. So this picture with the canary here. 18 pictures, it's in model, as you're going to see in a second. This machine learning model, it's not accurate at all. So if you want to have like a good machine learning model, you will need at least like 50, 100 pictures of each one. So I strongly recommend but that's actually, now I'm on holidays with some friends and we have a 10-year-old girl here, and she was able to just upload the picture, select these. And so I'm sure that in a classroom, this can be done in no time. So how does it work? So I just click upload pictures. So for example, I'm going to select like these two robins. I really like the robins. I upload them. Okay, job completed. Then I go back to data acquisition. And I have here the two robins. And I'm going to click edit labels. I'm going to select the robin. I'm going to introduce the label robin. So the machine learning algorithm can understand that what it's inside this square, it's a robin. So same here. I'm going to do this. So actually, I done this for a couple of projects, and it's pretty straightforward. Yeah, it's a bit. So if you work on data science, actually, most of the time it's just cleaning data or making sense of the data. But I think that for children, it's a good activity as well to let them know that computers are very good doing some actions, but are not really good doing some others, like image recognition or image classification. And for that, you need to tell to the machines, or to try to explain to the machine what is everything on a picture, and tell them a lot of times. No, like maybe children of 3-year-old children, for them it's easy to detect between a bird and a cat, but for a computer it's super complicated. But I think this activity it can be done really easily with children. Then it's time to create an impulse. An impulse, it's like, we say, okay, we will have image data. We will make a square of the picture. This is already created, but just clicking here, you say, okay, it's an image, you add it. I'm gonna delete this. Yeah, let's do it. So I'm saying that on the learning block, it's object detection. And I save the, it tells me that I have 3 different categories: canaries, nothing, it's pictures of a forest, and robins. Okay, I save the impulse. And now it's time to generate the features. So I'm going to tell that I'm going to use the color image. I'm going to save the parameters. And I'm going to generate the features. So this is a job that it's doing to try to understand from these 20 items and the 3 categories how. So we have 6 canaries, 5 forest, and 9 robins. And from this is trying to understand the model, the edge impulse. Okay, the job is completed. And we have an interesting visualization. Usually, this 3D chart, it's really interesting to see like if the model it's well designed or not. As we are going to see here, it's super messy because we only use 20 pictures, but usually we can see clusters of, for example, we see the green. There is a big cluster of green. The The blue, it's here in the middle, and there are some, the robins are here. But yeah, there are some green and blue that are not super well classified, but I can imagine that with more pictures, we can create like clusters for the machine learning model. So this is not gonna be super perfect live now. And we are gonna train now with this feature generated and this model generated, we are gonna train the model, okay, with a neural network. I'm not gonna change the site. I'm not gonna get into this because I don't think this is the topic of this to get into the edge impulse tool, but we're gonna, as by default parameters, I'm gonna start training the neural network. Feel free to ask questions. This can take like some minutes, so I'm gonna get next into next steps. So finally, okay. So meanwhile, this is being done. Let's get into Balena because I want to have a discussion with you. So. Oh, okay. So this is Baleno Hub. As I told you, Baleno Hub, it's a marketplace for IoT and edge applications. I don't know if you know Baleno Sound, but if you have a hi-fi music equipment, so with a Pi, you just can introduce Bluetooth to your hi-fi equipment or Baleno Minecraft. If you want to play, if you want to have your own Minecraft server. But as a project, I don't want to get into open fleets and fleets. But we had a developer from the community who created this bird watcher project. And this is how it all started. Okay, so if you go here and you click fork this fleet, this is gonna work. We have another version that, it's on the slides, or I can put it on the chat if anyone is just trying to replicate. Okay, it's this one. And it's, well, just to let you know, so what is Balena? Sorry, give me a sec. So Balena, it's as I told you, it's a service to reduce friction of fleet managers. So it's companies or people or developers who are managing a lot of devices, and the way to deploy new releases on these devices remotely. So when you have software around, sometimes you have bugs, etc. So you have to release new versions of the software. But when you have IoT devices in the middle of nowhere, sometimes it's really tricky to have those devices updated. So, but with Balena, we help on that. Okay, it's a bit technical, but the thing is that we have an operating system called Balena OS, which is open source. It's a Linux operating system, and all the software running on Balena OS runs on containers. Okay. Containers, it's like a new paradigm to run services on devices, okay? So that means that this project actually is running two services. One is the edge impulse processing image and the Telegram service. Okay, Charlotte, nice to meet you. So actually, if you go here, just clicking deploy with Balena, okay, you will deploy this into Balena Cloud. Okay, I'm not gonna do it now, but if you do just create and deploy, it's gonna deploy an application on Balena Cloud. Oops, Sarah is trying. Okay, it's gonna create and deploy a fleet on Balena Cloud, and it's gonna deploy the source code that we saw on GitHub on this cloud. And then, let me go to the one that it's working. Because the one that I have here, I couldn't make it run. Let me give it like the last chance to see if it can connect to the Wi-Fi that I have on my mobile phone. So if I power up my Pi, and let's see if we have a lag. Okay, I have questions. Cool. Can you run these on a Pi running Raspbian OS? Sure. Yes. The only thing that you will as I told you, at Balena OS, it's an open source Linux operating system. It runs containers. So the only thing that you will need for Raspbian OS is to run Docker on the Raspbian OS, and then probably it will work automatically, if I'm not wrong. Oops, wait a sec, sorry. So that should work. Yeah. The thing, yeah, here it's that what we want to do is to make it run on one click. And this is the magic of what I want to show you. So in one click, what you get, it's an application like this, that it says that there is a release running Balena Linux Bird Watcher. You just create a device. Well, let me do it properly. You just add a device. I click Balena OS. I introduce my Wi-Fi credentials here, and I click download Balena OS. When you click download Balena OS, you get like a release of an image of the operating system with the Wi-Fi credentials. And it's what it's failing right now with my Pi. So when you introduce you flash the SD card with Milena Etcher, for example, with that operating system image, you introduce it on the Pi, power up, and the device appears here. The problem is that my device is not it's not connecting with my mobile phone. I don't know why. With my Raspberry Pi, it's not online right now. But yeah, the magic here is that in one click, it works. The first thing it's going to do is we have another service called Supervisor. Supervisor is going to ask to the Balena Cloud if there is any new release to download. And Balena Cloud will say yes. And it's going to download the services that I showed you before. It's going to download the EI processing and Telegram services automatically on the device. And you will be able to access to the web server of the device. So if I click this button, public device URL, so we are going to be able to see the real-time stream of the camera. So for example, here, this is my apartment in Barcelona. And I luckily I leave this there working. Okay, and this, in case that something is detected, we can see so a bird, it's coming here, or on the boot there. So a square can be it's detected. A square is generated, like a green square with the name of the bird and the percentage of. So yeah, it can run on Raspbian OS, but on Raspbian OS, I would spend the 90 minutes of this workshop explaining how to configure everything. And with Milena, the goal of Milena is just to make it run on one click and get into this page just in one click. Okay, so this is the difference. But yeah, it can run on Raspbian OS. The magic as well of running on this on Balena is that you can have from here with this image. You can deploy it to other Pis, maybe in the balconies of the children, etc., and it will work as well automatically in one click. So all of these Pis from children in their balconies and in the school or neighbors or whatever, they can be managed from the same fleet. And that means that if there is a change on the source code or something, and you make a new release of the software because we introduce, for example, noise recognition or bird or chirp recognition, automatically all the devices will get the latest version. If you do it with Raspbian OS, it is a bit tricky to update all of the Pis from the fleet. Okay. So as I told you, so this should be automatic. You go here, public device URL, and this should work. And here you can see on the logs, sometimes it's just with this model, it's not really good, as I show you. So sometimes with a tiny, let me refresh, with a tiny shadow, it thinks that it's a bird, and sometimes we can see. We are lucky to see. Okay. So I explain a bit what is Balena, how to deploy with Balena. Okay, so we have some device variables. Okay, so let's imagine that you build your project and we have some device variables. And this is important because if you build your own machine learning model, okay, how is this going? Okay, precision score is 60%, pretty bad, but it's okay. So if we go to deployment, wait a sec, if we train, super slowly right now, my computer. Okay, I want to go to deployment. Come on. Okay. So we are gonna build for Linux. We are gonna build the model. Okay, and the thing that we need actually, I don't want to go here. Okay, it's to go to dashboard and to get the an API key and the project. Okay, and then we are gonna change this my API key here and the project ID from Edge Impulse here. Okay, and with this, my device is gonna point to the machine learning model. So I'm gonna go to keys. Let me see. Add a new API key. I'm gonna call it Fab16. Yeah. Set as development key, creating. Okay. I copy this. The zoom bar, it's okay. So I'm gonna put it here. I will overwrite this. Save. Okay, there is another variable called EI mode image that it's actually for training. So in case that you want to detect, it's 0. If you want to train the model, it's 1. So you also can put this Raspberry Pi and this camera on training model. So instead of me uploading images as I showed you before, you can do that like the Raspberry Pi and the camera. It's just updating pictures on the Edge Impulse machine learning model. So you can explain, okay, if it's nothing, or I put forest pictures, but yeah, if you are in a balcony and you have different background, maybe it's good to train when there is nothing. And then the Edge Impulse project, if I'm not wrong, it's this one here. So I'm gonna introduce here the Edge Impulse project. And then next thing that I told you, it's to create to introduce the Telegram chat ID. In this case, so for Telegram, I created, yeah, I don't, because it's not working, my Pi, I'm not gonna change these, but I have a one that is called Bird Feeder. Usually it's not working really well because the machine learning model, it's not really good, right? But yeah, but it sends the pictures. Yeah, I don't know why it's not charging on my. It's not really good, but yeah, you get the pictures on a bot on Telegram. To create a bot on Telegram, it's kind of simple. Let me show you. So you go to Telegram. So you Google Telegram bots, and then you just need to go to one bot on Telegram called Bot Father, and click create a new bot, and just follow the questions. So it's just a bot. So you create a bot with a bot, and then just copy the secure token that it generated here below. And yeah, that works. You can start detecting birds automatically. All the tests that we have been doing, it's just showing Google Images pictures from birds to the camera, and it works. And yeah, we are ready now to deploy it from September into the school, but looking forward to get other schools running these. And yeah, let me follow. Yeah, I don't know. I want to get more on technical things here, but let me follow. I would like to have time to have a discussion with all of you. So feel free to ask more technical questions. I can get more deep on technical questions. No worries. So the idea, it's like to make children experiments. So as I told you, with FabLab, we made other projects to experiment as well with bioplastics, etc. And I think it's, so FabLab, it's it's a great it's a great it's a good instrument for playing with the schools and introducing new ideas, and I think there has been other sessions of educating the teachers using Fablabs, and I think it's a great idea, and we had a really good experience with Fablab Barcelona at the school, and I really recommend to if you are a teacher or a director of a school and you have a local Fab Lab nearby you, go there, talk with the Fab Lab people, and try to create a synergy between the Fab Lab and the school, because it's a win-win situation. And if parents of the school as well helps, that's super cool. Sorry, there are a lot of flies here. Okay, and then, for example, this is a picture of the project of Pájaros en la Nube that I mentioned before, with a Fab Lab nest, and how children can experiment with it and see how to mount it with this laser cutter boot. But the good part for me, it's, for example, this picture, it's taken from Google, from Fablab Aldeias do Xisto. It's to go to there with children and experiment with different shapes, with different materials, with different ways to do things, and create brainstorms with them, and use the techniques that they can explain to children or teachers. And I think this is the best part, to let them experiment, to have questions and so on. And and finally, for me, one of the most exciting parts is to share it with everyone and inspire other people. This is, for example, why I'm super excited about Baleno Hub, because Baleno Hub, it's a marketplace where for IoT edge applications, and you can inspire other people with your applications. And but this is as well super inspiring, because maybe I'm super excited about birds, but there is someone else who is not inspired about birds, but about something else that is happening on their local community. And with a Pi and a camera, you can get help. So now it's time to install it as well, and this is as well really interesting, because maybe you don't have trees on your school, or maybe you have tons of trees. You have walls, you don't have walls, you have a rooftop, you don't. What are the lessons learned? No, if you don't have Wi-Fi on the place where you want to install it, you don't have electricity. If you want a solar panel, so there are a lot of things on this part here. And as well, it's time to connect with the bot. I think with the Telegram bot, the interesting part is that you can invite whoever you want. One of the things that I didn't want on a project like this for children, it's like the idea of saying, to the teachers or the children of the school, like, go to this website, just log in here, and you will see what it's the temperature and humidity of your bird feeder. And it's like, okay, so children will need to go to a website, etc. No, let's do something simple. Let's make like all the families have a Telegram probably, or WhatsApp on their mobile phones, or Signal. Let's connect them something to there, so children can see in real time what's happening. Even the teacher in the school during the classroom can get an alert on the mobile phone and show it to the children live. And then Telegram has a web version, so it can be displayed somewhere else. But this real time of Telegram, of no login application, etc. This simplicity, for me, this is something really interesting. Actually, something that it's as well really important, really interesting, it's that Mithun does, the developer of this repository, made as well one service to capture audio, and actually recording these 2 seconds of audio. If this was detected as a bird, it was sending this recording as a record message. So you could play the bird chirp on that Telegram, and that's really cool as well. So you can play this sound as well, and this is nice. And with this Telegram bot, you can invite anyone. So this is open to everyone who wants to be part of this community. And and then you will have some lessons learned. You will need to retrain the model. You will need to do a lot of things with it. And of course, the project is open source. I shared here on the chat the GitHub URL. It will be on my slides on my GitHub repository as well. And the idea is that anyone can contribute. This is open for everyone. Looking forward, yeah, if you want to, I will leave my email somewhere. So if you want to contribute or you want to be part of these, looking forward to have more schools being part of this. And yeah, let me wrap up for a bit before creating a discussion with all of you. So the takeaways that I tried to explain during this session, it's we can learn about the nature and the birds around us in a really simple way. Yeah, children are moving all the time, so it's really hard to have them observing with a sheet and a pencil, not checking the birds that they see and when they see it, etc. So maybe here artificial intelligence can help us, right? And yeah, why not? No, and let us know when birds are coming, when they are not coming, and children can learn about the nature around us and make the community involved on this. Yeah, then collaborate with Fablabs. It's awesome to introduce STEAM into the schools, and but then as well involve more people, involve teachers, involve parents, involve neighbors, everyone to this project. I think this can be a great type of project for like horizontal project for the school. I think it's really interesting as well to introduce a STEAM into children, but as well let them ask questions. No, what I told you before, I think it's really important to let them know that the camera, it's not just a camera that take pictures. It makes a lot of things more, and some of them can be dangerous, some others are not. But let them know and let them ask questions. And and I think with this project you can go from science, technology, engineering, art. They can paint like the 3-year-old children. They can paint the birds. We can even we can involve art, mathematics into this project. So I think it brings a lot of raw material to teachers. And I think with FabLab, like a lot of STEAM techniques can be applied here. And then the goal, it's like I don't like these schools that tells you, hey, no, this is our like Coca-Cola recipe that we don't share with anyone. Here our children are our teachers are very good in STEAM. I would like to share lessons learned with all the schools and with all the communities, because I think this is the best part, like learn from others, etc. And I think that's all. It's time for questions. Yeah, and here there is my email. I put it on the chat as well in case that you want to contact me. And that was all. That was my ideas to introduce into the schools STEAM with birds, IoT, AI, and Fablabs. Questions, chat or by voice if you want. Feel free to open the mic. I see Claire saying, for identifying by bird sounds, you might be interested on this. Oh, cool. Super. Let me open this.
Yeah, so hi, I'm Claire, I'm from Australia.
Hey, Claire.
And one of our local organizations, we ran a little hackathon for creating some sensors that can go in street lighting. And they came up with this one, which uses, detecting birds using sound. And there's like some pre-trained models that are already available that have been trained up by University of Cornell. So there's some cool. It's amazing what you can do just with sound. I mean, machine vision is so popular, but it's also that interesting thing with sound as well, particularly with birds.
Yeah. I think, it's super. So with birds, it makes a lot of sense to make the sound recognition. For me, the cool thing of this is that, this can work now in Australia. But then, for me, the nice thing, if we make this project big, it's like if schools can, a school in Barcelona, a school in Cornell, can see each other and say, wow, we have different birds, or we have one type of bird in common that it's the same. How this can happen, like that one bird in Australia and one bird in Europe are the same, or no, or we have completely different birds, right?
We do have migratory birds that do go between the different countries. So it's always interesting. But you're right. Similar with the images, sometimes you have to train on because there's different sets of birds that you would expect in different countries. And I think it's similar with the sounds of what you're training on. Yeah,
What I'm trying to convince them. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I was just going to ask, like, what's the youngest sort of age group you've ever sort of worked through this with?
So I'm starting with my children that are 7 and 5, and
Okay.
maybe they are, to explain them like what is artificial intelligence or what is a camera, what can, so they understand, but just to make the squares on the images, etc. Yeah, with a tablet usually works, but yeah, it's a bit tricky. And it can take time. If like 10-year-old, they can make they can make some more these edge impulse advanced parts and understand.
Oh, I think we lost Mark.
If they know how to read and how to write, it's good because they can observing, or for example, as well, it could be interesting to for them, to paint or like detect colors and paint and things like that. Maybe for smaller. I don't know if that makes sense. I wanted to say as well something about these edge impulse. What I'm trying to do, it's like I would love to create like one machine learning model, like a standard for Europe, for example, but that can be updated for other schools from all around the world. And it could be really nice to have like start with this robin and canary machine learning model, but can add new birds on the model. So like, I don't know, like kiwis that are only in New Zealand, like, okay, so maybe school in New Zealand want to introduce kiwis, and so why not, no? And we will not have kiwis here at all. But it's being trained by someone else who is expert and who has this type of birds there. And for me, that could be as well a very magic to have this type of collaboration between communities all around the world.
Yeah, I think it's
not have just an individual application running on my device.
It's a really approachable topic, I think, that appeals to a lot of different ages. So yeah, it's really cool.
Nice. More questions? Comments? I think I ran a lot and we have some spare time. Let me check if there are some questions on the chat. The Skylabs workshop, they are talking a lot, I see. What's going on? Where are you based?
Yeah, we're in Kamakura, Japan, and these are two Fab Academy graduates, and we're having a little graduation party. But thank you, it was very inspirational. We really enjoy it. We do
for us. Sorry.
We are also doing, or here at Skylab, we are a STEAM learning workshop as well, and so you're for children. So your project is very interesting, and I'm definitely going to try to do something like that here. Thanks.
And what do you do for children in Japan?
What do I do? I'm gonna stick it in. Yeah, so I'll put what we do on Instagram down in the chat, and then you can have a look.
Super. Yeah, let's share activities that you do. And actually, this as I showed you before, we made this activity of Jugando con la Luz, and it was really interesting to have like from 12-year-old to 14-year-old children by groups creating like this box of shadows and explaining their stories, their feelings, their emotions, and then making this huge wall, like thousands of people walk around. So that was really interesting. And this pájaros en la nube, we have the nest there, but we haven't seen any bird getting into here. I think the hole it's too small, I guess, for a bird. But yeah, let me open this. Meanwhile, I'm sharing the screen.
Yeah, we love the concept of citizen science. Georg here one of the graduates is going to be doing a full scope bio festival here in Japan in a couple of weeks.
Nice.
So looking at the microorganisms. Oh, you're looking at my website. Okay, yeah. So this is what we do. It's mostly basically teaching kids how to make things and think for themselves, which is a bit of a departure from typical Japanese educational system.
Yeah. So one challenge we have is also the language. So it's very or the Japanese mindset, you know. So we need to really open up so the kids are most of the time okay, you know, but it's a different way of learning.
Kids are kids.
Yeah.
Kids are kids. It's the educational system that's the problem.
Yeah. I agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice. Congratulations for being
Thank you.
Thank you so much
for
for
it. It's
really nice to hear it. Yeah.
Cool. More experiences. Is anyone on the room? We have like how many people we have here? We have like 10 people. Anyone had experience with the steam and birds, etc.?
My name is Daniel. I have experience with steam with kids in Nigeria, but not with birds yet. So that's why I'm trying to see how I can integrate that to some of the free STEAM projects that I do at the nursery schools. So basically what we're doing right now is still working with Arduino, Makey and other interactive components to teach them about science and technology, basically. But I'm really, really impressed with your project. That's why I came to see how I can include it into my project. Thank you.
Yeah, the goal of the project is that in one click it can run. So yeah, looking forward to see. Just write me anyone who would like to deploy it from September, for example, because I'm on holidays. But yeah, just write me an email and we can try maybe to have another like a hands-on session if everyone can have a Pi and a camera. So we can have another session like everyone like real time building these. But as I show you, out of the edge impulse model that it's a bit more complex and you need to have pictures or not, etc. and train the model, but in some clicks. The idea of Milena, it's just fork this fleet on Baleno Hub and it works. Or well, yeah, you only need to introduce the variables of the edge impulse model, etc. and it works. No, you open something like this. And yeah, this is what we want to do, like trying to reduce the friction on making this type of projects that sometimes are very hard to build. So I'm open to do like another session where you can have the materials and we can do it all together. More comments? I don't know if people is still here or sleeping or. And looking forward to know as well about activities that you have been doing.
Well, I'll jump in while no one's.
Of course,
well,
please.
We're just starting our journey into setting up a Fab Lab, and I was looking through the sort of schedule and trying to find ideas for different activities, and I love the kids are a big part, I think, of this whole process in STEM, and we've run some things with older kids. Just so I'm from the local government here in Lake Macquarie in Australia. And we've run some stuff with like older kids, but not younger kids. And we've get them to do like quite complex sort of tasks with like, we get them to like create prototypes out of cardboard for things they wanted to solve. We set them like solve a community challenge and create a little prototype out of cardboard and get a Raspberry Pi and put lights and kind of make this sort of demo. But something like this, it's really interesting because there's aspects that speed up that process, I think. Having some of this automated or like pre-set up for people, I think is really cool, particularly for schools, because as we get into the younger and younger age groups, the easier and easier I think we can make all of this, the more approachable it is for them. And yes, there's, you want to give them a bit of hands-on, but also give them that sort of better, sort of inspire them to think more and think bigger from STEM. And and STEAM. And I think that art aspect is really interesting, particularly with the really young kids, about connecting kind of what you see in the world to, hey, we have these things that then detect those birds that you see, and combining that into art. I think it's an interesting concept to kind of combine with the whole tech side of things, and might help those younger age groups. But also I think making it simple for school teachers. My aunt's a school teacher, and she's anything that we can make it simpler for them if they're trying to do it in their own classrooms does help. So I really applaud you for sort of working towards all this and making it easier. It's really great.
Yeah, absolutely. I think and we have a message as well from Marta in the chat. Thanks, Mark. I don't have experience with schools and Fablabs and IoT. No problem. And well, I don't have experience in schools neither. So I'm just a motivated father. But so fun. I had experience with hands-on science, outdoors activities, no tech. Okay, cool. So I was curious about the project. Cool. And Marta, I don't know if you can talk or not, or you prefer to chat. Feel free to connect your microphone. But tell us more about these science outdoor activities that you do with no tech, like with a sheet and just checking birds or things like that, or let us know. Okay, you did in the past. Okay. So here the goal, it's to try to have more tools to automatize this observation part, and then create questions about. Oh, nice. Okay, and let us know how the maths. How did you play with maths on these science outdoor activities? Maybe that's a good point. So for maths, not sure how. Well, for young kids, maybe it's you can play with if you are lucky and on the bird nest you can get eggs from the birds. Maybe you can do some play with some maths, learning how the reproduction of the birds is going. No, how many tiny birds every bird is having, or etc. Okay, measuring 3 height. Oh, that's pretty awesome. Okay. I really like this. Well, looking forward to know more about this. I don't know how to measure. Feel free to share more, please. What else? Okay. So, looking forward to to get more. To have inspired some of you. If you have my email on the chat, I can write it now again. So you can write me if you want to create a hands-on session to install it on your place, or and then looking forward to as well to talk with other Fab Labs to see how to if you are not a Fab Lab but you want to build these, maybe it's a good opportunity to go to the Fab Labs and talk with your local Fab Lab and see how they can help you to experiment with materials or print bird nest, or laser cut some woods, etc. And I don't know, for me,
interesting. It'd be interesting to apply this to other animals. That, like in Australia, we've got like possums and like bats and all sorts of things that people are always trying to measure. Although, it'd be interesting testing it out with like some sort of night vision cameras and things like
absolutely.
that.
This is not a night camera, but there are like Pi cameras that are like night vision, and they cost like $20 as well, super cheap. and you can find them on AliExpress or things like that, or Amazon. And yeah, but it's fun because my colleague, the other Milena developer advocate, he's based in Phoenix, Arizona, speaking about this project. And he was like, yeah, you know, this is really cool, but you know, I live in a desert and we don't have a lot of birds here. So just the birds that we have, they are dangerous birds that eat other animals. So you don't want to put this on a school, you know? So the thing is, like, he was like more, yeah, I would like to detect like maybe spiders, maybe snakes, maybe javelinas, things like that, you know, to see how dangerous, no, it is to go to school, for example, for children, right? So did you, no, if in front of your your house, no, you have seen a spider like 5 minutes ago, maybe I don't know, you have to wait, or you have to be more careful if you want to leave home, right? On the other hand, there is a project based on this exactly the same technology that I show you, that is being used by an NGO that it's called, well, it's not an NGO, it's like a company, but that is called Arribada, and actually they are installing cameras in the Antarctica, nearby the I think they already as well installed in Greenland cameras to detect polar bears, like some meters, like 500 meters around, like, so they created like a virtual fence around the villages with where there are like the scientific teams working, because yeah, polar bears are dangerous, and when they get into these villages, sometimes yeah, they can harm some people or they can get harmed. And so they created like a virtual fence with cameras, and with these type of models that I show you with birds, but with polar bears, it's a thermal camera, so it's a night camera. And the idea is that if a polar bear is detected, a message is being sent to the village, hey, like a polar bear is coming from this direction. And actually in Greenland, it's happening as well, because they have like a place where they burn all the yeah, all the rubbish from the village, so the polar bears get attracted by the smell, and so that is like creating an alarm, and people can understand that the polar bear is going to the village, and everyone is prepared, or everyone goes home. And as well, they are doing exactly the same with elephants in India, with the wild elephants. So when a wild elephant gets into a specific place, people just go home, or they get protected somewhere else, so they don't have incidents with elephants. So yeah, of course, this can be used with a lot of different animals and involve a lot of different people. And on the other hand, it can be very useful to save lives, or to save as well wildlife.
True.
And it's just, yeah, €100. So I would strongly recommend, if you want to use it, just buy a Pi 3, or if you have it at home, that's super good. Cool. Pi 3, Pi 4, and a USB camera or Pi camera, or if you want these night cameras, I think there is in AliExpress these night cameras that are super cheap as well. And yeah, and it's, yeah, I'm looking forward to read more about what you can do with it. I'm looking forward to learn if you do like chirp recognition, it's as well super simple. And yeah, I'm looking forward to see more schools running this and sharing knowledge and inspire others.
Well, you've definitely inspired me, and I'm definitely going to give it a go. So, and
Cool.
then yeah, hopefully we can when we bring it into part of our program with our Fab Lab.
Nice. Just send me a message later, please.
We'll do. We'll do.
So we are in contact.
I will let you know how I'll keep you informed of how I'm going and how we're going as a Fab Lab. And
super.
Yes, definitely looking to connect with the schools, but also bring introduce programs into schools that, yeah, something like this that's quite simple for them to do, I think will they'll be really interested in.
Yeah, and what I said before, I think it's really interesting if we can share the educational activities among schools, right? Because maybe there is a successful activity in schools in Australia that are unsuccessful in places, but unsuccessful activities in other, no, in Europe maybe are successful in Australia, right? So sharing these, I think it's really important. Like it's like a scientific paper where even if you fail, you explain what you did, right? So others don't do that. But sharing these, and it can be super inspireful for other people or for teachers, and even they can iterate, right? Okay, they did this, but if I change it and I do this, maybe no, my school will be interested, my class will be interested, and I think that's for me one of the goals, that schools can share what they do and can share methodologies and ideas as well. And Fablabs can be. We have Banson joining right now. Hello. Someone join at 1 minute before we disconnect. What else? Question, comments? Banson, Galinier, do you have any question now that you are joining the stream? No, yes. Okay. Okay, so it was a pleasure. You have my credentials in the chat, and looking forward to learn more about what you can do.
Thanks,
Have
Mark.
a good day, good afternoon. Yeah.
Bye. Thanks.
Bye.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye bye. Thank you.
Bye-bye. Pleasure.
Bye.